number 23, Brett Sachs. At linebacker, number 22, Carl Batiste.
Look at this.
At end, number 50, Lance Pace. At tackle, number 57, Andy Reese. At quarterback, number 13, Ben Stacy. Strong safety, number 31, Freddie Barber. And at end, number 33, Ruben Carpenter. And the cheers are coached by Mr. Bill Sharp. The officials for tonight's game, Bob Kanya, John Gassensmith, Art Zeke.
capitalize on their penalties.
quarterbacks on the stop.
Go, 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 go! Go!
Johnson on the return. Hendricks
Jimmy's leading at 7-6. Big Reuben Carpenter breaks into the secondary, leaves this guy like a statue. Man, he burned him. He's gone 72 yards for the score. That was the run that really put Jimtown over the top. Fort gave them an 8-point lead at halftime. The Jimmy's defense did an excellent job shutting down the option attack of the Warriors. I tell you, folks, this option attack from the Warriors of North Miami really rolled up some points this year. They couldn't get it done tonight. Jimtown goes on to win their 6th sectional championship under their head coach, Bill Sharp. Final score, Jimmy's a winner, 21-12. They will meet Bremen.
Played for the Class 1A sectional title. Second half, quite a drive by North Miami. 16 plays. They only passed this hookup from Jason C. to Troy Thompson. The rest was on the ground. Jocko Flaherty caps an 8-minute march with the touchdown, but the Warriors needed a 2-pointer to tie. Jimtown wouldn't let it happen. Jason Campbell and friend Sack C on the conversion. Jimtown up by 2 when Bill Sharp's Jimmies keep it in the hands of Reuben Carpenter, and why not? Look at the moves as Carpenter carries 17 times, 205 yards. Here's his second touchdown of the night to put it away with 8.5 left. Jimtown beats North Miami 21-12. Meanwhile, Bremen had no problem with Pioneer. 6 TDs for Bo Hunt. They beat the Pioneer team 46-0. So next week, Jimtown visits Bremen.
Look at some of the highlights now from Jimtown as they were facing top-ranked North Miami. The Jimmies would see North Miami cut it to 14-12 in the third quarter. They go through the air to get close, and then they'll put it on into the end zone. Jocko Flaherty taking it on in. That was 14-12, but the rest would be all Jimmies. Reuben Carpenter, a big night for Jimtown, 205 yards and 2 touchdowns in this ball game. He breaks this one. You think he's down, but he's not. He's still going out there. And then it's that man Carpenter again taking it on in. Jimtown will meet Bremen next week. Jimtown, the 21-12 winner over North Miami. Check out the scores there. You do.
Wishbone Warriors take on the Jimtown Jimmies. It's back to Lowry, right up the middle. He breaks a couple of times.
They'll not catch it. Back to pass. Rooney airs it out downfield.
Oh, my.
How about that? Had some yardage. Look at this. Look at this. Still on his feet in some running room. And he's ball down at the 40. The kick looks long enough, and it is through.
This week's TV46 High School Football Playoff Game of the Week is being brought to you by Mossberg.
On a cold November night where tonight, for all intents and purposes, we may decide a state championship. I'm Bob Nagel. Alongside is Bill Beck tonight. And Bill, you spent a lot of time covering these Jimtown Jimmies, and this is a battle between number 1 and number 3, but for all intents and purposes, this could be the game that sends one of these teams onto the Hoosier Dome.
A lot of tradition with Jimtown. They've been there twice before. North Miami is pretty much the newcomer in Northern Indiana small school football, and they're looking to make a mark in their program tonight, and this is the place to do it.
North Miami, of course, undefeated during the regular season, ranked number 1 in Class 1A. They did have an injury that might set this team back a little bit, but Jimtown going to play them as if they're the number 1 team.
Bart Connor, their quarterback, went down in the last regular season game. He will not play. They had to move one of their halfbacks to the quarterback. It takes a little bit of the edge off, but Bob Bridges assured me that this is still a powerful team.
It sure is, and of course they didn't pass that much to begin with, so it's not going to be that much of a change to run the football. They like to have ball control. Jimtown, on the other hand, is going to come out multifaceted. They do like to throw the football. They have a very excellent quarterback.
They've got speed, too, which helps, and that's one thing that might be the difference in the game. And they have a quarterback in Brent Sachs who can throw the ball and can run the ball, too. So be a lot of variations to the Jimtown offense tonight.
And they're playing at home, which never hurts in a playoff game. Jimtown taking on and welcoming North Miami's Warriors to Neff Field tonight, and we'll have all the action. Take a look at some of the keys to the ball game after we pause for these messages. At Jimtown High School, it's Class 1A sectional final action as the top-ranked Wishbone Warriors of North Miami take on the Jimtown Jimmies. Jimtown at home, and boy, what a great time to be at home with the likes of Brent Sachs at quarterback and Carl Batiste at fullback, and also playing some defense for you at linebacker. A couple of key players for the Jimtown Jimmies. On the other side of the field, North Miami comes in with that number 1 ranking, an unblemished record for the season, and a couple of players keep an eye on. That man, certainly Jocko Flaherty, 5'9", senior, fullback, linebacker. He's the key and he runs it out of the wishbone for North Miami. Also kicks off in the ball game. Here's the quarterback, Jason C. His stats are not all that impressive. He was just pressed into action as quarterback after last week. I'm Bob Nagel. Bill Becker's alongside, and we'll talk about some of the keys to the game, etc. But we're ready to kick it off here and start this Class 1A sectional final. And catching the football on the opening kick is the big man, Lance Pace, for Jimtown. You remember Lance Pace on our broadcast a couple of weeks ago kicked the game-winning field goal against Bremen. Here's the keys to win for North Miami. They need to be successful with the wishbone. It's really all they brought with them. It's all they've had all season, and it's been successful. Time of possession will be important for North Miami, as the Warriors like to run the wishbone 80 yards in about 30 minutes is about the way they like to do it. They also need to stay healthy. They're not real deep coming into this ball game. First play from scrimmage for the Jimtown Jimmies. Brent Sachs, the quarterback, 5'11" junior, and they hand off on the right side of the line, and with the ball is Reuben Carpenter. No, it's Carl Batiste, the fullback. Keys to win for Jimtown, they need to balance their offense, and they're capable of doing that. And they would like to debone that wishbone on defense, and of course having the whole field advantage certainly doesn't hurt at all for these Jimtown Jimmies. Gain on the play of about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 yards to go for Jimtown, and Brent Sachs brings him up again. In the backfield, Reuben Carpenter and Carl Batiste. Handoff is to Batiste. He's over the left side, up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, has the first down. And out near midfield goes Carl Batiste. And I tell you what, the spark plug tailback for Jimtown that time. Watch the handoff. A nice lead block by Carpenter coming through the middle. He gets a cornerback. Good blocking at the point of attack. And the tackle finally made in the defensive secondary by Matt Myers of North Miami. 1st down and 10 for Jimtown. And the Jimmies look like they're ready to play football tonight behind that big offensive line. Andy Weiss is the center, 6'1", 205. Back to pass on 1st down is Sachs. Has his man, that's Eric Dills. Dills down to about the 46-yard line of North Miami. And it'll be gaining the play of about 3, maybe 4 yards. 2nd down and a long 6 coming up. And that's what we were talking about with the balance that Jimtown is able to show. And Bill, Brent Sachs certainly able to throw the ball. He's not going to overly impress anybody, but he's going to get the job done.
Bill Sharp has a lot of confidence in Sachs, and that's the one weapon that Jimtown has in this game that really North Miami doesn't, is the ball in the air.
2nd down, long 6 to go. Sachs hands to Batiste, left side. He's going to be pulled down and stormed under. Back at the original line of scrimmage, back near midfield. Batiste lost his hand warmer, which on a night like this might be the most important mistake he makes. Watch his hand warmer fall off right there. And a couple of guys from North Miami says, "That the ball?" No. And then they said, "Hi, how you doing?" That's David Floyd, 5'9", 175, and a senior, number 70, who wrapped Batiste up back at midfield. So loss on the play of about 3.5 yards. It'll be 3rd down and just about 10 yards to go for the Jimmies.
Coach Bridge indicated before the game they wanted to get his kids to swarm with the football as fast as they could.
Bob Bridge, the head coach of the top-ranked Warriors. Hand up. Carpenter got a hole. 40, 35, down to the 30. 1st down for the Jimtown Jimmies is Reuben Carpenter on that quick trap up the middle. And Bill Sharp calls it his bread and butter. That trap play has to work for Jimtown to be successful. And a full 19-yard pickup on the 3rd down and 10 for Jimtown on the 1st down.
Not too many fullbacks with the kind of speed and strength that the Carpenter has, especially at a Class A school. Tremendous athlete.
See on our Mossberg replay, Carpenter had 4 guys to bring him down. We got flags on the play here on 1st down, and looked like a couple of the Jimtown Jimmies on that left side of the line might have moved a little bit early. Run down that starting offensive lineup for Jimtown. At split end is Brian Beery. The left tackle is Lance Pace, 5'11", 260, and a senior.
Procedure.
And he's also their kicker.
Offense.
Richard Adams
Still
is
first.
the left guard, 205. Andy Weiss is the center at 205. Jason Troyer, 5'9", 220, is the right guard. Jason Campbell, 6'1", 215, and a junior is the right tackle. Eric Dills, the tight end, 6'1", 165, and a senior. Sachs, 5'11", 150. And a junior is the quarterback, and a good one, Reuben Carpenter, 5'9", 175, and a senior. And Carl Batiste, 5'7", 165, and a senior. 5-yard penalty moves Jimtown back to the 35-yard line, and they give the football off to Carpenter on 1st down and 15. He'll pick up About 5 yards in the play. So they get the penalty yardage back to the Jimtown Jimmies. One loss during the season.
Last week, Jimtown had 11 penalties against Northwood, even though they won 41-8, and about 8 of them were legal procedures on the offensive line. They really had a little problem last week.
Sachs back under quarterback, back under center. Quick screen to the right side. Blockers in front, down the right sideline goes.
That's Greg Vitale.
Greg Vitale went from the flanker spot. Caught the football, got a nice block up in front. Watch it again in our Mossberg replay. Greg Vitale is a 5'8", 150 junior. Got a nice block, got down the sidelines, and they're going to mark the ball at about the 25-yard line. Now we have a penalty marker down against Jimtown.
Another flag from the point of the number 15 from the point of the attack. I don't know if it was a personal foul after the play.
On the offense, still second down.
Referee Bob Kanya with the field mic on tonight, trying to let the fans and those of us here on TV 46 know that the penalty is clipping against Jimtown. Second down coming up, and 20 yards to go. The walk-off from the point of infraction. Sachs going to pitch left side. Batiste with the football, brought down, a nice open field tackle. Textbook tackle by D.J. Catton, 5'5", 130, and a senior. Bill Sharp knew he'd have a contest and then some against this North Miami ball club.
Bob, for us to win the football game, we've got to give Coach Bridge and North Miami 70, 80 yards of field all the time. We can't give them the ball on our side of the 50 or we're going to be in for a long night. You just don't get it back from them. You know, they get it going, you just don't get it back.
How about your offense?
I think the key thing is don't turn the ball over and get Ruben through. You know, we got to be able to run the trap. That's a big play for us, and get Carl on the outside, and Brent's got to have a decent night throwing the ball.
Phil Sharp saying that one of the keys was not to turn the ball over, and they haven't done that yet, but they sure have made some mistakes early on. Now Ruben Carpenter is loose. Gets by one man, gets down to the 25, inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line, and he's going to be close to the first down. He may have it. And, man, that quick trap up the middle for Jimtown is really working very effectively. Carpenter getting good running room. Watch the play develop. There's the trap. Gets in behind Pace. Pace knocked 2 or 3 guys backwards, and then Carpenter uses that good speed that he has from that fullback position and gets the first down.
It's just simple, good recognition of where the hole was. He could have, a lot of guys would have dove straight in there and gotten stopped for a 2-3 yard gain. He broke it to the outside, which is where the hole was.
You get behind my man Lance Pace, it's hard to find the hole sometimes. And I mean that in a good way. He's out there hitting some people. Handoff up the middle. Carpenter going to pick up some yardage, maybe 3 yards. It'll be second down and 7. And North Miami has had a couple of good opportunities go their way to stop this Jimtown opening drive. And the Jimmies have answered. So Jimtown, looks like they came ready to play football tonight. A lot of times in a sectional championship game like this, you'll have some butterflies, a little lack of attention, get some of those penalties.
Everybody trying to feel each other out, get the flow of the game.
Counter play, and up the middle and wide open was Carl Batiste going for the score. And Bob Kanya says illegal procedure. Somebody moving early again. North Miami is a very quick ball club. We mentioned they don't have a lot of depth. They have a roster that shows us 23 names. 23 names, and out of those 23.
Dead ball, illegal procedure, red, still second.
5-yard walk-off will bring up a second down and 11. Look at the replay. Who jumped early? Well, I don't know.
Looked like Lance took Lance Pace on the left tackle there, pulled up just a fraction before the ball was snapped.
I'll tell you what, he might have just surprised the official with how quick he is. He got out there in a hurry. Sachs, hands off, up the middle. Carpenter dragging some people with him. Back inside the 20-yard line. Going to gain about 3, maybe 4 yards up the middle. See where they mark the forward progress down to about the 18-yard line. It'll bring up third down and about 8 yards to go. Jimtown on long yardage situations has not thrown the football tonight. They've elected rather to run it and been very effective catching North Miami in somewhat of a pass defense. Timeout on the field. In the opening drive, Jimtown on the march. North Miami trying to stop them back at Neff Field football. It's brisk. Of course, we're inside, so I guess it's a little bit easier on us, but good crowd on hand, both from North Miami and certainly from Jimtown. And we mentioned that Bill Beck is with us tonight. Craig Wallen is on assignment in warmer climates. We'll get even with him, but Bill, great to have you alongside, and it's a great crowd here at Jimtown all the time.
These are probably the best fans in northern Indiana as far as following their kids.
Handoff up the middle on 3rd down and long. They give the ball to Carpenter, and he's not going to get the first down. He's going to pick up about 3 yards, get down around the 15, maybe the 14-yard line. They'll mark it right at the 15. So it's going to be 4th down and 5, and they're a little bit outside of the range of Lance Pace, although I don't know. I've seen him put a foot to it and have 45-yard range, but Jimtown will go for it, a 4th down and 5. Fred Sachs, full house backfield. Going to hand to the second man, and over the right side and going for the touchdown is Carl Batiste. Counter play works to perfection for the Jimtown Jimmies, and with 5 minutes, 13 seconds to go in the first quarter, the Jimtown Jimmies have struck first, leading 6-0 over top-ranked North Miami. Watch the counter play. They fake to Carpenter. Back the other way, pulling guard, key block right at the point of attack, and Batiste can just about stroll into the end zone from that point.
That's exactly what Coach Bridge wanted to avoid at North Miami. They wanted their kids to maintain some discipline and not go right to the ball so quick, and they just lost track of the ball on that play.
Pace will try the extra point. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it is good. So Jimtown's Jimmies have drawn first blood, leading by a score of 7-0 in this sectional championship game. They look at the Jimtown sidelines. Watch it again on the replay, and this is the play that Jimtown, along with a quick trap inside, everything goes to the left side, and so does North Miami. And back on the other side comes Carl Batiste. And Bill, I guess the timing couldn't have been much better.
Not a perfect time. That's a great call on that play. Not only did they get the score on the drive, they used up 6 minutes and 37 seconds. Half the first quarter's already gone, and they've got a score.
Absolutely, and now we'll see if North Miami can put their vaunted wishbone attack to work. They are called the Warriors, but they don't mind being called the Wishbone Warriors. That is their stock and trade, and they do it very well. They did it probably better when their quarterback was Bart Connor. And Bill, you were mentioning that he was injured down at the Hoosier Dome in their final regular season game, and what a tough break.
Bob Bridge called him the best player he's ever had play the quarterback position. He was very valuable to this team, even though Flaherty's got all the yards. Connor was the key to this offense. And when he went down, they had to move. Jason C. was one of their halfbacks in the option. It caused a little bit of a continuity breakup. And they have a good runner in C, but they just lost that extra special something of reading defenses, which Connor really had.
Bart Connor had run for 259 yards, 7.2 yards per carry. And the per carry yardage is impressive for this team from North Miami. Jocko Flaherty, you're going to see him in just a moment. He'll remind you a little bit of Bo Hunt. He has 1,364 yards this season, 6.2 yards per carry. Kickoff is handled by North Miami, and coming right back up the middle and breaking out near midfield over the 45-yard line. Number 29, that's Troy Thompson. And so North Miami gets their first shot at these Jimtown Jimmies with Coach Bob Bridge.
We're looking forward to having ball control, moving the ball, not making very many mistakes, executing, and on defense, flying to the football. We need to get to the football and make sure they don't get any misdirections or cutbacks. If they get too many big plays, then we're in trouble. So if we get an 8 or 9 minute drive and score, we would be really happy.
Opening carry of the ball game goes to, guess who? Jocko Flaherty. Goes right up the middle, going to get about 5 yards. Call it 4, make it 2nd down and 6. And North Miami in Jimtown territory on their first carry down to the 48-yard line. 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Just 4:35 left to go here in the first quarter of action. And this is only the second play from scrimmage for North Miami. Hand off fullback. Flaherty going to get a couple, going to push his way forward. He won't stop in there. Going to get all the way down near the 45-yard line. Goes Jocko Flaherty. And watch it on the Mossberg replay again. This young man They're only playing 8 regular season games, and to get 1,300 yards is very impressive. You saw Jason C., the quarterback, as he rides his fullback. And what'll happen in that wishbone, you ride your fullback, and once in a while you pull it out of there and run it yourself, or you pitch it to the man in the backfield. Troy Thompson is back there along with Steve Wagner. Steve Wagner will be used largely in a blocking role. Flaherty again gets down to about the 44-yard line, maybe the 43, going to be close to the first down. They went for it on 4th down and 3, and I don't think he made it. It was
We're about a yard short, Bob.
It was 3rd down and 3. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 1. And North Miami doesn't look like they're getting into a punting mode.
According to Bill Sharp this week, they won't punt on about anywhere on the field unless they're deep in return. They'll go on 4th down about every single time.
So the first big play of the ball game for the Jimtown Jimmies. Handoff. Flaherty up the middle, got 3, maybe 4 yards down to the 40-yard line. And the first down for North Miami. And let's see if we can get a clue as to how this yardage is so easily available. Everybody blocks to the left side, and the tackle pulled and kicked out on the linebacker, and Flaherty got right in between them. So
obviously that's why they go on 4th down a lot right there. Jocko's a strong young man to be bowling the way he is.
And the way they block, the way North Miami blocks this wishbone, makes it extra tough. You kind of knew Flaherty was going to get the football. I mean, you'd have to guess that way. But the blocking schemes change on every down. C hands off. No, he keeps the football. That time he faked it to Flaherty, pulled it out, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe fall forward for a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9, and good effort by that Jimtown defense up front. Lance Pace, Andy Weiss, Richard Adams, Jason Campbell, and Ruben Carpenter. Linebackers are Robbie Hendricks and Carl Batiste. Cornerbacks Ben Stacy and Greg Vitale, and the safeties Fred Barber and Brett Sachs. 2nd down, 9 yards to go for North Miami. The Warriors handoff. Flaherty up the middle. Man, I'll tell you what, they're kicking that linebacker out, and Flaherty going to be inside the 35 down to about the 32-yard line, and boy, they're quick at the line of scrimmage.
Quick and strong, and they've really executed this pretty well. They've got everybody walled off where they have to, and there's a nice lane for Flaherty in there each time.
Well, you don't get to be number 1 in the state of Indiana at this point of the season without having some ability. Jason C. doing a nice job running this offense. He's had a couple of weeks now to get used to it, I guess you'd say. He was a running back and an effective one for North Miami as at this point of the season.
The biggest difference between C and Bridge, or C and Connor, according to Coach Bridge, is that he's just still learning how to read the other team's defense as a quarterback, and there's a lot of practice that had to be done just to get him acclimated to that job.
3rd down, 1 yard to go for the Warriors. Jimtown trying to hold him. They give it to Flaherty. He falls forward. He's going to have the first down. And down to about the 30-yard line goes Jocko Flaherty. North Miami, located just outside of Peru, Indiana, just north of Peru in Miami County. And the Wishbone Warriors, a team that has been in the playoffs before, but not had quite as much success nor this much pressure as far as a statewide ranking. Bob Bridges Ball Club, as we said, not deep, but they sure are talented. And the right hand sure knows what the left hand is doing.
They're not real fancy in what they do. They just make you stop this is what they do.
C hands off Flaherty. Trap up the middle. Good fullback series of plays here. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Air Force in a way. Their fullback not very big, but very effective. And you know what he did against Notre Dame, and so far Jocko Flaherty having a pretty good night. 3 yards on that carry. And we are just about through the first quarter of action. We've had one possession by Jimtown, that one for a touchdown. And North Miami now is 2nd down and 7. Put a man in motion. Fumble. Comes right back to C. C going to try to go forward. Going to get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard. Pick up on the play, but Jason C. got maybe the first big break of this ball game. Watch him turn to Flaherty. Rides him a second. Loses the football. Bounced on that hard surface. Came right back up to him. So Jason C. will pick up they're going to give him 2 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd down 5. And this should be the final play of the first quarter. Jason C. sets him down in the wishbone. Fumble again, and this time it comes right up to his running back. And Jimtown celebrating, but Troy Thompson's lucky to have the football. It'll be a loss on the play, and we'll watch it again on our Mossberg replay. And the time is out here in the first quarter. And as you watch the replay, we'll tell you that after one quarter of play, it's Jimtown leading North Miami 7-0. We'll be back. Nagel with Bill Beck alongside, and Bill doing a nice job keeping our stats and adding some insight. Bill covers this Jimtown Jimmy Ball Club on a regular basis for the Elkhart Truth, and Bill, pretty effective efforts for both offenses in that first quarter.
Defenses are having a hard time up front picking out the guys that have the ball. North Miami's using more their strength right ahead, and Jimtown's been using their speed. Defenses aren't faring too well right now.
Fourth down, 11 yards to go. C's going to pitch, and he's not going to get there. Steve Wagner, the odd man out in that wishbone, was going on the option, and Jason C. let fly with kind of an, you usually don't see a pitch go this high or this far, but he did get the ball to Wagner, but right there to make the stop were the Jimtown Jimmies, and give credit on that good open field tackle to Brent Sachs, who is the quarterback, but also the strong safety, and he made a nice play on that fourth down play.
Sharp told me this week that he is Sachs from the free safety. His man is the pitch man all week. He was going to go right to no matter who it was. Jocko is not his man. The quarterback's not his man. It's the man who's going to get any kind of a pitch would be Brent Sachs' man.
11:46 to go in the first half now, and the Jimtown Jimmies have the ball for just the second time tonight. Brent Sachs sets him down. Going to give it to Batiste, and we've got a penalty, flag down again, and Jimtown having trouble getting on track. They have been playing against two different opponents. One has been North Miami, the other has been themselves on these penalties. That is what, their fourth penalty?
That's 4 penalties tonight.
One major for clipping, and 3 of these, like Lou Holtz likes to call them, nuisance penalties. They'll really be a nuisance in practice next week.
Last week, the starting center, Andy Weiss, did not play, and a lot of Sharp attributed a lot of their line procedure calls on that. He's back this week.
We have an illegal shift on the offense. Declined. Second down.
Penalty declined after the 2-yard pickup. It'll be second down and 8. You see Bob Kanye and his fine group of officials here tonight. John Gaston-Smith, Billy Sarukas. Do a great job. Sachs pitches. Batiste, right side. Going to get a couple yards. Going to get out over the 30 to about the 32-yard line goes Carl Batiste. You look at the Jimtown bench, and while the offense is working, the defense is getting some coaching and some adjustments made. And that's going to be a key to this ball game for Jimtown, is to adjust to that wishbone, work with it, learn to play it, make some adjustments, be more effective as the game goes along. Jimtown, ironically, doing the thing that North Miami was noted for, and that's ball control and running some clock. They've had the ball quite a bit in this ball game already.
North Miami is trying to keep Jimtown from getting the big play, big long plays.
Third down 5, and again another penalty. And I'll tell you what, Bill Sharp may use a timeout. The penalties that are happening on the field, I don't think are a result too much of North Miami as much as just a lack of concentration.
We have a dead ball, illegal procedure on the offense, still third.
Well, Jimtown continues to pile up yardage. Unfortunately, it's in the penalty category. Let's take a look at it again at the line of scrimmage, saying that somebody moved early. Yeah, 2 people moving out early. I'm not sure if they're moving earlier or Brent Sachs is just not coming away from the center right away. It seems like he's making sure he's got the football. Third down and 10. Sachs wants to throw as a man open, and it's tipped away. Good defensive effort